88,935. Mavoti okanidwa pa zifukwa zina, owonongeka pa zifukwa zina, amene sadawerengedwe.
Hello and welcome. You're watching Luntha TV and it's time for a news bulletin. Today with me, Tandi Wemzamara. Now in this bulletin, we are going to give you news reports coming from the international scene, that's the Vatican, and the local scene, of course, with elections, and of course also on the international scene, so do stay tuned. In our first story, that is on the Vatican scene, around 9,000 pilgrims gathered in St. Peter's Basilica on Monday evening to take part in a prayer vigil for the Jubilee of Consolation. The special event of the Holy Year was dedicated to everyone who has endured moments of particular difficulty, bereavement, suffering, or hardship. Pope Leo XIV led pilgrims in the Liturgy of the Word, which included 2 testimonies from women who have suffered an especially traumatic loss of a loved one. We have more details in this Vatican News report read by Phyllis Chizombe.
In his address, Pope Leo reflected on humanity's need for comfort and consolation amid the many wars and personal losses people endure every day. The Pope noted that those who suffer look around for someone to offer some form of consolation, but often find no one. At times, he added, tears are the only consolation we find, a consolation of which he said we should never be ashamed, since they express our weak and tested humanity's silent cry. We may find ourselves questioning the nature of evil and how God can let evil exist. Yet, said the Pope, we should turn to sacred scripture to help us journey from questioning to faith. If we turn our questioning into praise and supplications for justice and peace from God, we turn our hope to Jesus, who is the bridge between God and humanity. The Pope noted that the testimonies of Miss Foley and Miss Di Mauro Motanio revealed the truth that pain must not give rise to violence, since love can conquer hatred. Forgiveness, he said, offers us a foretaste of the kingdom of God on earth, breaking the circle of evil and establishing justice grounded in God's mercy. Pope Leo XIV invited everyone to allow God to comfort us in our pain rather than relying on our strength of will. In conclusion, the Pope appealed for an end to the crushing weight of violence, hunger, and war that are causing immense suffering to entire populations.
Archbishop Desmond George Tambala of the Catholic Archdiocese of Lilongwe has called on the Malawi Electoral Commission (MIC) to conduct itself professionally to ensure that the September 16th general elections are free, fair, and credible. He made these remarks after casting his vote at Waila Secondary School in Lilongwe on Tuesday morning, expressing satisfaction with the turnout of voters at Waila, noting that it demonstrated Malawians' understanding of the importance of elections. Archbishop Tambala then emphasized that Malawians have done their part by coming out in large numbers. Now the Malawi Electoral Commission must respect their will. We have more details in this report brought by Emmanuel Chocha.
Arriving at the center at exactly 5:15, Archbishop Tambala appeared calm and composed in a black suit as he waited to vote. Despite the late starting of the voting at 6:30 a.m., he emphasized that it was important for him to cast his ballot early on a such significant day for the country. The Archbishop reiterated his appeal to MIC to handle the process with diligence and fairness, stressing that the credibility of the elections rested on the Commission's professionalism.
The challenge is about timekeeping. I think we were supposed to start at 6. We ended up at 6:30. That was when we were starting. But apart from that, the rest is okay.
So perhaps are you impressed with the process of voting?
Yeah, this process is very simple. I think everyone can understand. From those who have gone to school, maybe and those who have not gone to school. It's a very simple way of voting, easy to understand, and it's a very good way.
Maybe any message of encouragement to those who are yet to decide maybe to come out to vote despite maybe being registered in the voter roll?
Yeah, for those who have registered, please come. I think this is an opportunity for us to exercise our vote as we build the nation. What I'm seeing here is a very good environment. All voters here are exchanging in a very friendly way. And for those who have not yet come, please come and cast your vote. It's your chance and it's your opportunity.
Also present at Bwaila were the Muakwawa sisters who arrived by bus and were allowed to cast their votes before gathering in prayer for peaceful and transparent election. Meanwhile, some challenges were reported at Chilambula and Midzi LES school where biometric devices malfunctioned, causing delay in the voting process. As polls closed, Malawians across the nation remained eager and hopeful, awaiting the announcement of the official election results. For Luntha News in Lilongwe, this is Emmanuel Juocha.
Lilongwe Diocese Auxiliary Bishop Vincent Frederick Muakwawa has called on Malawians to remain calm, patient, and prayerful as the nation awaits the announcement of official election results, reminding citizens that voting is a noble duty and not a cause for division. Speaking on Tuesday after casting his vote at St. Thomas Anglican Polling Center in Lilongwe, Bishop Muakwawa encouraged voters and candidates alike to embrace peace and maturity, stressing that elections are a democratic competition in which only one person can emerge victorious. Charity Shilanga filed this report.
Reflecting on his personal participation in the polls, Bishop Muakwawa said he felt spiritually fulfilled to cast his vote as both a citizen and a bishop, noting that he had prayed and reflected deeply about the election. He emphasized that voting is a form of civic responsibility that aligns with Christian values. Bishop Muakwawa warned against violence and unrest in response to results, urging the public to remain peaceful and continue praying for the nation. To the presidential and parliamentary candidates, Bishop Muakwawa expressed gratitude for their willingness to serve the nation, stating that their participation alone was a sign of love for Malawi. He urged them to remain composed, accept the results with humility, and use proper legal channels should they wish to contest any outcomes.
Good and I'm excited to participate in this as a bishop. One thing I have been praying over and reflecting over is to follow the conscience. I'm a religious leader indeed, and I need to be exemplary, so I've come here to vote to also demonstrate that I'm a good citizen, and I want to fulfill my obligation as a child of God for Malawi, but also for the whole world, because this vote also affects the whole country, the whole globe. Therefore, one thing that I've reflected over this time seriously is to follow my conscience, so that I vote according to what I have listened, I've discerned, and I've prayed over, analyzing all the political parties and their candidates, looking at what they are carrying and what they are going to offer. So I followed my conscience, and this is also the message I'm giving to people out there, those who have not voted. Please go and vote this morning afternoon. Follow your conscience. Don't just follow because a candidate is your relative or somebody you know, or the party is something that is within your region or your family. No.
Upon arriving at the polling station, Bishop Muakwawa did not immediately proceed to verify his name or vote. Upon arriving at the polling station, Bishop Muakwawa did not immediately proceed to verify his name or vote. He took time to observe the voting process, having been assigned by the Malawi Conference of Catholic Bishops MCCB and the National Children's Commission to serve as an election observer. While recommending the smooth and orderly conduct of the process, he raised concern over the lack of adherence to child-sensitive voting guidelines. The bishop intervened after noticing that mothers with children were not being prioritized in the queues.
Amongst other bishops of the Malawi Conference of Catholic Bishops that also exercised their right to vote today, Tuesday, included Zomba Diocese Bishop Alfred Mateu Chaima, also the Mangoshi Diocese, that's Bishop Montfort Stima, and Mzuzu Diocese Bishop Yohane Nyirenda, amongst others. Moving on with the news, President Dr. Lazarus Chakwera, leader of the Malawi Congress Party, exercised his democratic right by casting his vote at Malembofu Primary School in Lilongwe on Tuesday. Joined by First Lady Monica Chakwera, the president took part in the electoral process, just like millions of Malawians, reaffirming his commitment to civic duty and democratic values, even while holding the highest office in the land. Patrick Pupa was on the ground.
Briefly, today being Tuesday, day 16 in the month of September, it's been a wonderful day here at Malembofu Primary School, whereby people are waiting for the President of the Republic of Malawi. And so far, the President has arrived at Malembofu Primary School, whereby he's here to exercise his right by voting. By the way, and we have seen that the President at Malembofu Primary School has casted his vote alongside his I can say his madam by the name of Monica Chakwera. In terms of patronage as well as the turnout of people here at Malembofu Primary School, it looks like it's a big turn-up, whereby a lot of people are also here to witness the presence of the Dr. Lazarus Chakwera, who is also the President of the Republic of Malawi, as well as the cabinet for Malawi Congress Party. So far, it's what I can say in terms of the President of the Republic of Malawi, as he has casted his vote at Malembofu Primary School.
What is the mood like?
In terms of the mood, the President was smiling, and the President was also online. As you understand, that the President has got a lot of powers, but I didn't take too much time, maybe just to go on the front and cast his vote, but he stood on the line to show that he's the true citizen of the nation of Malawi.
And how about the people?
In terms of the people, I can see that people were also fine, and you know that this is the center whereby President maybe it's his home village, and people also the mood was good in terms of showing that maybe the President was also available. So I can say that all was fine in terms of the big day here in Malawi.
Tuesday's votes also saw other presidential aspirants casting their votes, and that also included former President Peter Mutharika, who is the DPP leader, and Dr. Dalitso Kabambe of the UTM, with both voting in Cholo district, and also Adipele Muluzi of the UDF voting in Mashinga, and of course People's Party President Dr. Joyce Banda, who voted in Zomba, that is amongst the 17 presidential candidates, and of course also the Ojazakalibi Mlando President, that is Dr. Michael Usi, who voted in Blantyre. Now, moving on to the news, this evening, that is on Tuesday evening, the Malawi Electoral Commission held a press briefing at the Bingu International Convention Center, BICC, where, amongst other things, the Malawi Electoral Commission Chairperson, Justice Annabel Mtalimanja, announced an extension of voting hours at Bata Primary School in Mashinjiri, Blantyre, until 8 o'clock this evening. According to the chairperson, adequate security had been put in place to ensure the voting process proceeds smoothly. Voting in the polling center was temporarily halted earlier in the afternoon due to a dispute that arose during the process. Now, if you just tuned in, remember that you're watching news coming to you live from Bishop Nevi Media Center, and today with me, Tandi Wenzumara. As we proceed with the news, a smooth and steady voting process unfolded at the Lilongwe Technical College polling center, where 525 registered voters were expected to cast their ballots to choose the country's next leaders. Presiding officer Hamida Mkwanda told Luntha television that everything went according to plan, with the polling center opening right on time at around 6 o'clock in the morning, as directed by the Malawi Electoral Commission. Bridget Manoga was there.
Indeed, I'm at Lilongwe Technical College, one of the polling centers, and there is calm and order where voting is progressing smoothly. Voters are arriving steadily, with one person entering as another leaves, ensuring a continuous but manageable flow. The presiding officer, Hamida Nkwanda, says that many people came early in the morning and were already waiting when the polling opened. And polling started at exactly 6 a.m. And out of the 525 registered voters, nearly 300 had already cast their ballots by mid-morning. So the center has 4 polling stations, which is helping to speed up the process and reduce congestion, allowing voters to exercise their democratic right with ease. So I've seen security personnel visibly present, maintaining order and assisting elderly voters and those with special needs. Party monitors and election observers are also on site, closely following proceedings to ensure transparency and credibility. Many voters have expressed satisfaction with how well organized the process is, and they are highlighting the quick verification procedures and the availability of election materials. And another thing, the steady turnout reflects a strong public interest in shaping the country's next leadership. That's all from me, and I've been here at Lilongwe Technical College, and this is Bridget Manoka.
Polling at Mchesi Primary School in Lilongwe also kicked off with strong voter turnout and a peaceful atmosphere. Presiding officer Laidon Vazulu confirmed that staff and monitors arrived early to verify materials, with voting beginning shortly after 6 o'clock in the morning despite minor set-up delays. By mid-morning, many of the 2,689 registered voters had already cast their ballots, reflecting high public interest. And of course, security was tight, with the Malawi Defense Force and Malawi Police Service officers ensuring order. Vazulu credited strong teamwork for the smooth and well-organized start. Here is part of what Vazulu had to say. We do apologize for not being able to give you that, but we should be able to do that later on. On the international scene, the South Africa's Pretoria High Court has dismissed with costs an application by the Edgar Lungu family seeking leave to appeal against an earlier judgment ordering the repatriation of his body to Zambia for a state funeral and burial. The court has ruled that the family has failed to demonstrate reasonable prospects of success, noting that their legal arguments did not raise compelling constitutional or unique legal issues warranting the intervention of a higher court. Thalis Chizombe is reading a ZNBC Today report.
The court said the Attorney General of Zambia constituted sufficient expert authority on Zambia law that precedent established in first President Kenneth Kaunda's case provided clear legal guidance on state burials in Zambia. The judges, led by Pretoria High Court Deputy Judge President Oble Lidwaba, further ruled that despite disputes over benefits, Mr. Lungu remained a former head of state entitled to burials at state expense. The bench bench concludes that the matter was highly fact-specific and unlikely to recur in the same form, thus failing to meet the threshold for comparing reasons under the Superior Courts Act. The costs have been awarded against the applicants, including fees for 2 senior counsel. Lungu, who served as Zambia's 60th president from 2015 to 2021, died in Pretoria on 5th June 2025 at the age of 68 after a short illness. The ruling clears the way for Zambian authorities to receive Lungu's body and proceed with a state funeral. Zambia's government has said the late president will be laid to rest at Embassy Park alongside his predecessors in line with national tradition.
Now that story does mark the end of our news bulletin, but before I go, just a reminder that we keep on bringing you several updates on the elections, seeing as today, the 16th of September 2025, Malawians did exercise their right to voting. So as Luntha Television, we are committed to giving you up-to-date news on that. And of course, we will continue taking you to our friends at the National Tally Center at the BICC, and of course, updating several things that are happening around the country on our Facebook page. That is on Luntha Television. Do make sure to follow that page and of course like it for more updates to the stories that we gave you this evening, and of course so much more. My name is Tandiwe Mzumara. Goodbye for now.